What would it mean for his legacy to create this 40,000 club?
Nothing. Not in my estimation, because he's already cemented himself as one of the all-time greats. He's already cemented himself as being on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. Obviously, this is another mark on him in terms of his resume, how impeccable and extraordinary it is. As you echoed earlier this week, there's nobody who has been as great for as long as he has been great. He is definitely in a GOAT conversation. When you take all of those superlatives into consideration, what else is there to say other than you're just doing this? This is just the latest.
It's a lot to say. It's lonely at the top. He's going to be lonely, sitting there with 40,000 points. Whoever thought that old snotty-nosed Bron from Spring Hill Projects down in St. Vincent, St. Mary in Akron, Ohio, we'll be talking about him right now, a guy that has exceeded expectations, right? You think about the pressure that he's been under for 22 years, not 21, 22, because the first time we ever witnessed this young man was in 2022, December 12th, ESPN high school game. And now we're here talking about a milestone that he's about to reach that I strongly believe that would never be broken.
Yeah, you know, the thing you said is right, Perkins. Who exceeds expectations anymore? I mean, we put such great expectations on 15-year-olds and 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds. It's impossible to meet these things. He has exceeded them, not by a little bit, by a lot. Who would have said, well, LeBron, we think he's going to be great. Is he going to be the all-time leading scorer past Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? I remember watching Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at the end of his career. He's walking up. He didn't come back, and not to knock him, he wouldn't go on offense sometimes. He wouldn't come back on defense. He was an unbelievable player. LeBron James, right now, oldest player in the league, is second in the league in fast break points. He's the oldest player in the NBA. That is astonishing. And what he's done, I'm lucky we get to watch him play.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I've got to see him play in the finals. Everybody watching this game tonight should feel fortunate that he's still doing it. And it's not charity. LeBron is doing it at the highest level at the age he's at. It's astounding, and we're all lucky that we've been able to see him for the last 20 years.
When we talk about longevity, one thing that we have never seen is a father and son playing together in the NBA, Woj. And Bronny James is just down the street, really, at USC now. What are the chances that we are going to see that as soon as this year?
Malika, I talked to Rich Paul, the CEO of Clutch Sports, obviously LeBron James' agent. He will also be Bronny James's representative. And a couple things they're really going to look at when they make a decision about leaving school or returning for a sophomore year at USC. Number one, Rich Paul and LeBron James, Bronny James will be far less interested in how high he will be picked, but is the right team interested, the right developmental situation for him, perhaps later on in the first round. But here's one thing that won't be a consideration, I was told by Rich Paul. The idea that he needs to play with LeBron James, be on the same roster, play with him on the Lakers. That, as Rich Paul said to me, if it organically happened, LeBron would be head over heels excited to play with Bronny. But in Rich Paul's words, LeBron wants Bronny to be his own man. And so it'll certainly be something as we get further into the spring.
Yeah.
And he's got a decision to make. You know, they'll have time to get a real sense of where they stand in the NBA for this 2024 draft.
But even if you were to think back, Stephen A., at the possibility of somebody playing in the league at this level as long as LeBron James has, long enough to play potentially alongside or against his son, where do you think, you brought up the GOAT conversation, LeBron James and longevity fit there?
Well, longevity to me is what has him in that GOAT conversation. I watched Michael Jordan. To me, he's the greatest I ever saw, period. I still feel that way. But when I look at what LeBron James has been able to do over the course of his 21 seasons at age 39, to be averaging practically 25, 7, and 7, to be as sensational as he has been, and in leading the Lakers, I can't say enough about him. And the one thing that I give LeBron James credit for over everybody else is conditioning. I mean, listen, to me, NBA players today should look at him and go like this: how in God's name is this man in better shape than me? He's 39 with that mileage on his body because he's been in the finals 10 times, for crying out loud. Seasons have extended from April to May and June. And still, he's always in better shape than 99% of the league.
You talk about longevity, but you don't mention the word pressure. And I got a problem with that. is no other player, not just in basketball, but in the history of sports that has been under the pressure like LeBron James. We have video clips of guys that were in the league that were actually waiting on him to fail, saying that he wasn't ready for the league before he got to the NBA, and he had succeeded there. So the amount of pressure, being labeled the chosen one at the age of 16 on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and now we're sitting up here 4 NBA MVPs away, 4 NBA championships away, 4 NBA.
You know I'll get at you later, buddy. We don't have enough time on the show. We don't have enough time on the show for me to get at you with what you just said. But we'll get on it another time.
At 39 years old, LeBron James is still a great player in the NBA.
Yeah.
He's still an all-NBA level player. If he was willing to just be a good player in the NBA, he could play to 44 or 45.
Yeah, but look, what is the problem with the resume? I mean, I understand Michael Jordan. If you look at LeBron's resume, right, he's going to get 40,000. He's going to get 9 points tonight. Last time he didn't score 10 points was years ago.
Like 1,200.
So right now, I got to say, this is going to sound bad coming out of me. Had he not faced those Warrior teams with Curry and Durant, I shouldn't be. You guys should say this.
No.
Let somebody else say it. If he hadn't been playing those teams, how many championships might he have? Those are some pretty.
That's where we going. You know, oh, y'all are lucky. I mean, this is ridiculous.
That is where we're going.
We don't even have enough time with the nonsensical stuff drivel coming out of your mouth right now. Listen, you go up against who you went up against, okay? That's what we have to look at. When you look at LeBron James, you want to talk about resume? Does anybody have, how many people have a better resume than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? So, but it's not just about your resume. It's also about the eye test. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 19-time All-Star, retired as an all-time leading scorer. The one individual in the history of the game with the most unstoppable move in the history of the game, and nobody else has had that, okay? But still in all, we don't look at him and say, well, he's better than LeBron James. So let's not bring up the resume stuff, okay? It's not just...
ESPN.